In 6.3 on page 175, I'm being asked to extend all of these amounts to either the income statement or balance sheet columns. They will not go in both. A trick that I give all of my students is when I come over here to income summary, I'm going to draw a little line. Everything from income summary on down is going to go on the income statement, and everything above income summary is going to go on the balance sheet. So when I start with cash, cash is above that line, so it's going to go on the balance sheet. I'm going to take the $4,900 and carry it over to the balance sheet debit column. Petty cash, balance sheet debit, accounts receivable, balance sheet debit. Now when I get to supplies, I had $228 debit. I had how much I used up, so I subtract these two amounts, and the $75 is what's going to get carried over to the balance sheet debit column. Same thing for prepaid insurance. I'm going to subtract, and my updated insurance is $250 balance sheet debit. Accounts payable is a balance sheet credit. Capital, balance sheet credit. Drawing is going to be a balance sheet debit. I'm now starting with income summary. We have no balance, but everything below it is going to go on the income statement. So sales is a credit for $2,160. Advertising expense is a debit for $460. Cash short and over is $6. Insurance expense, although I don't have an amount here in the trial balance column, I do have a debit in the adjustments. So I'm going to carry that debit over. $189 for miscellaneous. Supplies, I don't have anything in trial balance, but I can't forget about this $153 debit. And lastly, we have the $550. So now that everything's been carried over, I'm going to draw a line across my remaining four columns, and I'm going to add them up. Income statement debit is $1,483. Income statement credit is $2,160. Balance sheet debit, $8,387. And balance sheet credit is $7,710. Now we don't need to freak out just yet because none of our numbers match or equal. What we have to do now is find our net income or net loss. We do that by looking at our income statement column. Sales, this is the amount of money coming in. That total was $2,160. All of our expenses here is money going out, $1,483. Because the money we brought in is greater than the money that we spent, we're going to subtract those and get a net income. So I'm going to write net income over here on line 18. When I subtract these two numbers, I get $677. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw another line and I'm going to add these down. So I get $2,160 here and $2,160 here. Now that they equal, I can double rule. I'm now going to look at my balance sheet numbers. I'm going to subtract these. The difference is going to go under the smaller number. The difference between these numbers is 677. Notice how it is the same difference in both columns. So now when I add down, in my balance sheet columns, I get $8,387 in both my debit and credit columns. So I'm going to double rule, and this is how I complete a worksheet and find the net income.